Are you muted, Benny? Benny, are you? Come on, Benny. Come on.
I forgot. I was thinking that. I muted myself by accident. But either way,
he had a whole tangent right there about.
I had a whole tangent. Yeah, I didn't hear any of it. But it's still the same shit before we see before. The teams have nothing to lose. They have nothing. They have no care. They're not in regulation. They're not getting kicked out. So they have no care in the world. They can play however they want to.
That's true. And of course, on a map where they have nothing to lose, it's just a Nomad and Thatcher ban to start things out. Because why not? Why get crazy with it? It's the last game of Group A group stage. This match doesn't mean much for Orgless, and Lenny could leapfrog Wichita Wolves. We just have standard bans so far. Nothing all that crazy. For the first defensive ban, oh lord, we might see about.
Oh my god.
I can't believe we found ourselves
Consulate too. It's always Valkyrie.
Incredible. Literally the first set of maps she was banned on was Consulate and Coastline.
Yep. And the last ban is gonna be Mira. Is it gonna be something
No, it
different?
wouldn't be Mira. It would never.
Oh, it's Mira.
I can't believe it. My mind.
Hey, it's the same console as always. They're gonna play it the same as always, and then we're gonna see what these teams. I don't know. It's be interesting to see. If Lenny play aggressive, it's gonna be interesting to see how aggressive they can play. But they're also they're on attack first though, so we'll see what happens. I guess. Jacqueline Bride. I haven't seen Jacqueline Wall either actually.
I've also not. I just wanted to see something cool, or we're Orgless. We'll ban Mikey Zofia. Swaylin dropped 15 on IQG8. We'll ban something. I just want something. That's all.
Yeah,
not even see a Ying come out. He 6-pick to the Sledge. I mean, is it a good pick? Yeah, Sledge is important on this, but I don't know. I want something.
Maybe get them during playoffs. You ain't getting here.
Maybe it might be.
On to our first defense downstairs.
It's end of the day though, Benny. I'm feeling like how you feel when it's Friday. You're about to get let out of school. You're in your final period. You're like, come on. Let's get.
I thought you're gonna kin this to work, but no, you talk about school because you're so young. What a zoomer you are.
Dude, I'm in college. Like, what do you want from me, dog? I'm not even in high school anymore. That's a dated reference.
Though. I was gonna talk about being at work and it's Friday afternoon.
Bro, you work at a bank. Like, why are you trying to diss me on how we live our lives? You have the most boring job on the face of the earth.
It is a very boring job.
You don't even count money. You're an IT guy. You just the teller comes up oh, my word doesn't work.
Oh, I remember had a problem the other day where someone locked their Excel sheet and couldn't open it back up.
I didn't even know you could lock Excel sheets.
Yeah, you can password lock your Excel sheets, and they seem to have.
Why would you do that?
Password. Don't ask me. They put the ticket in, and I'm just confused, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't think I can fix it. But either way, we're starting this first attack so far, and we're gonna see on this basement defense how LennyGG take this, because they probably take control of Piano, but there are roamers, of course.
That's true. There are roamers. Not only just roamers, also plenty of intel denial on the side of Orgless. Mozzie, Mute, Vigil as well. Gotcha. Gotcha's looking to jump out, and he will, and he'll jump right back in. All right, so never mind about that. Shot down to 50 HP, bullets flying from all sorts of location. I'm just amazed he came out alive, and I'm honestly amazed even more that Orgless come away with the opening pick onto Storms. That's what you get for 6 picking up the Ying.
Ooh, a little head scene, and he still loses the fight. Young Alec with that 1.5. Down goes Mikey. Gotcha's still looking for a kill of his own. He's like, I want to kill too. Where are they at? And Swaylin upside down and repelled. Geo's droning firm to see what's going on. And Slippy's just waiting outside, seeing what aggression, if anybody jumps out, really. But at this point, I think Orgless have just returned to site. Young Alec is still playing in admin. Never mind. He has a C4 in hand, and Prod's expecting someone to come through the front door.
I mean, it's below lobby press room. Somebody might come through the main door, go for Piano.
Usually
possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, now that Storm's off the board, no Sledge, not all too likely. You might still see the clear come from that side from Lenny, but really right now, it's a bit difficult to see how they'll come away with this. Doesn't appear this direct goal in mind for Lenny, especially with Prod still alive here. Oh, unlucky. Geo's able to see the head. Prod, not so much, though it's still man advantage for Orgless, so nothing all too crazy. It does mean that Slippery feel a lot more comfortable moving into Piano. Will make it inside, something that many members of LennyGG have accomplished but not found much success in. So with a minute left, might be able to get some soft destruction, but beyond that, it's really just going to come down to pushing whatever angles and doorways are available to them.
Well, at least if they destroy the mute jammers, they at least get the wall open. Oh, I mean the electro claws. But it looks like the grenade won't be able to destroy the electro claws, so the wall is still reinforced, electrified. So at this point, now they go for hatches. Use those Excaliburs to destroy those hatches. And as you said before, what other entryways and obvious plays can you walk in? As they're smoking off yellow stairs, so you can't push down. Suelo's going for a spiral, but is scared if someone's playing it. Young Alec peeking out from kitchen. Probably the first person who walks in, and Gotcha will get his first kill so far, killing out Geo. As he's upstairs, just roaming around, he can go for a flank.
Yeah, Slippery will start making his way through the smoke. Oasis won't go for a flank. He'll go for a push, but he's traded out by Barring, so nothing too lost by the defense. Swaylin left, 10 seconds left, 1v3. Literally cannot see down the hallway he's pushing down because of that smoke grenade. Gotcha will drop, use the smoke as cover, but he's just going to wait, try and either save his KD, give his team time to talk. He'll get one kill at the very least, and even save his life, but it's all impactless. Orgless will still come away with the first round on basement.
Well, that was an interesting round. Again, this is Consulate, so aggression, just like Coast and Chalet. It's defense, running around, playing crazy angles, playing upstairs, making them waste time, and just taking fights as much as you can and winning most of them for Orgless' side. Young Alec was crazy, so was Gotcha and the rest of them. So that was a really big one. You leave them in. They couldn't even get the wall open too. They could not get rid of that electric claw and could not open garage wall. So they were just kind of pigeonholed into either pushing yellow stairs or pushing down spiral.
Yeah, there's just not a lot to say for Lenny in that round overall. When they tried to push upstairs, they were outplayed by Prod down below. They had nobody actually there to counter the mute. And then Young Alec just smoked Mikey off yellow stairs. There was a little bit of a failing in tactics, and then also just they didn't have the chance to play the game at certain points. But they won site number 1. Orgless can now go to lobby and press room. And if you are LennyGG, there's not as much you traditionally need to clear here. Teams don't often play downstairs inside a basement. Might if there's a pulse on the board, but usually it's focused on that first and second floor. So with that Jackal as well, and also the nades in the hands of Storms and Slippery, it's going to be a bit easier. All you got to do is start clearing out admin, make your way into projector, clear out that area of the map, contain it, move in through main door, and you should be okay at that point in time. So getting hung up on the roam clear, not as big a factor just because there's not as much of it.
I was like, yeah, you can just make sure they're not playing projector, just push them off and you try and go for that plant though.
True.
Looks like Swalin's pre-firing, make sure to see if someone's peeking that printer window. And also, well, one thing too is while we saw Gush downstairs, he was reinforcing that garage wall so he can play inside the kitchen and also C4 from below. So there's a few angles they probably have to clear before they do that, but they don't have to fully roam clear in a sense. They can always just try to push it out. Prod using those drones to his advantage to get intel, knows one's on the windows, has a C4 ready, could throw it through the window and get a kill, but looks he's waiting for them to rappel farther up, and it looks like they're actually going for this full roam clear, trying to take control of admin first, and a grenade will do just that to help Melt push in admin.
Excellent nade by Slippery. That's a position as old as time, not just in general, but also for Amazi to specifically play there. Very common spot to go for a C4 on that rappel. Excellent read by Slippery, excellent intel gathering, able to pull it out. Also a very brazen run out by Gotcha, easily punished by Storms, running out that main door. If somebody's just playing in that spot and he's hiding behind that trees, it's going to be difficult to try and counter that out. But there's Young Alec, always there to make an impact and get a frag. He'll spot Mikey, get him 2 rounds in a row on that Zofia, peeking out from that connector window. But it's still a 4v3, still a minute 40 left. Plenty of time for LennyGG to bounce over that very minor hiccup.
True. There's still time for Lenny, but at the same point, they still have to deal with Barring here, playing projector. They still have Bonaha. Geo's still available to open this wall up and drive him from Bosco. Looks like Bosco now has been cleared. Barring's made his way back downstairs, and there's no C4 available to the defense though, because of course Gotcha's dead, and there's no smokes either, so they still can make this happen. At this point, the members of Orgless have to just take fights when it comes to that post or that planting, because they have no indirect way to stop it. But if they control, it depends. Can they keep control of projected though? Swayland's making his way downstairs to clear out anybody, making sure nobody can see for them later on. And a Barring, of course, has come back upstairs, because otherwise taking control of projector later on would be big and could give him this round. But down goes Young Alec. That's a big hit for Orgless.
Yeah, a bit difficult to retake projector now that the player playing outside of it has fallen. Barring will also go for a peek on Spiral, but just as he does, Swayland backs off and is able to land the kill. Oasis in a 1v4. He was the one player inside and a chamber, and arguably one of the most important players left alive. He'll go to pre-fire the default plan, but nobody's covering! Still a LennyGG round, but that is a mystifying series of events if I've ever seen it.
He just walks up and kills him like it was no problem.
Yes.
But either way, good job from Lenny to get those kills. They needed some brazen plays from Orgless when it comes to some of those peeks and really, yeah, prod that first pick, that great grenade from the side of Slippery, I believe, who was playing the Yana on admin windows. It is kind of a default spot, like you said before. Just people play there all the time. So great grenade to deny prod from C4ing them if they jump right in, or if they jump across the windows. And then getting the second kill as well. Gotcha, just getting that kill on him running out was kind of huge there. They put in a 3v5 and they're able to just gain the angles they need, clear out projector, get that plant down, or they almost get the plant down. But they got the kills they needed, which is the big thing here in Consulate. So now we go into our next defense, and it looks like it's split from Orgless. This site has been more and more popular as it is pretty difficult to play and pretty difficult to attack.
Can be a little bit difficult, but Orgless, they're going for the other take, which is extending far off the site. Not necessarily playing for those C4s, but just playing in a similar way that we normally see. Just trying to waste time on the entry into the building, forcing you to clear them out, because you could try to go for a direct take, but kind of like the extended roam on Clubhouse, they're able to rotate back in time, in which there are plenty of avenues to rotate back. It's a bit difficult to make that work. So for LennyGG, they have to make a decision early on how they want to take this, because if they want to play into it, they got to dedicate themselves with everything. But if they want to go for a direct as well, they can't have any indecision about it. They need to commit one way or the other.
Well, let us see what then LennyGG does, because they have to commit to something here. And of course, you already see Gotcha, and the Oasis has left the game. Unfortunate. So it's a 4v5 within the first 30 seconds, having one of your players DC. And now, can they do Gotcha playing behind Black Car here? I wonder if they do the drones to actually able to find his footsteps. So he knows he's in garage, but of course he's reinforced the garage wall. So if they want to push him, the right way, they have to expend those Exkyros, and they will do just that. And this is what they want. Orgless wants you to waste the utility, waste the time in driving these players out. And so far, Orgless, they're able to waste some utility, and Gotcha just pulls back after knowing that they've used Exkyros to open the garage up. Young Alec, though, he's been pinged out. They know he's playing yellow stairs. He's going to fall back for the moment.
Yeah, we'll start to fall back. Gotcha inside the side as well. Orgless not really getting too aggressive overall on this roam extended up top. LennyGG are clearly going for that direct. That much is certain. They're going downstairs. They're not trying to play into that roam, but they're going a little bit slow about it. Nice angle by Storms, by the way. Opening up that shelf could see, barring if he tries to get aggressive, but that's the issue. He doesn't really need to. He can keep playing this position, and especially with Oasis leaving the game early on, not in a spot where he really feels the need to get all that aggressive. And LennyGG, they actually are still full clearing the entire map, and while there are players up there, it's just going to waste a lot of time, since many of those players are likely going to rotate back or might not have the biggest impact overall.
Yeah, young Alex upstairs an admin by himself too. If they can isolate him, they could deal with him, because he does have a C4 hand. He's the only person with some kind of way of denying the plant later on, especially if he plays admin too. So I'm assuming at this point, a big thing for LennyGG will be taking that top floor control, so they can use that in later on for post plant, or deny people on site as well, since there's not really many C4s in the hands of Orgless. Well, Slippery is looking through his window, seeing if anybody peeks him, and Mikey's making his way upstairs. At this point, looks like young Alec has abandoned upstairs, and so has the rest of them. They're knowing that young Lenny has control upstairs, and then it's going to back off mode. Orgless Orgless is letting LennyGG do what they want at this point, really.
Yeah, they are. And I was going to say it's still winnable in the 4v5, but now the prod's been taken down. 35 seconds left. It's still winnable, but it's a lot more difficult for Orgless particularly. Young Alec will start to rotate back up, and if you want anybody on this retake, Young Alec is the exact opposite person you want to face trying to retake those main stairs. Barring still down below, it's a bit risky. If he falls, basically the site does as well. And in fact, everyone on Orgless falls. It's just Gotcha left on 1 HP, and he's taken off the board. Of course, Oasis is out of the game. That was likely just a chalked, lost round in the mind of Orgless since the beginning, and we will have a rehost to try and get Oasis back in the game, as he has not gotten back on yet, so we will need to have to remake the lobby in order to get him back.
Remake the lobby. He lagged out, unfortunate for Oasis, and yeah, that round, losing that member, really, it seemed like Orgless' intent was just to waste time, but it ain't setting up at that point. Lenny were just looking for the players at that point. They're looking for any of the Orgless players to take fights and deal with them, and in the end, that's kind of what they were doing. They're just walking around the map, clearing every single route angle they could, finding these players and getting those kills. So big job. Good job on Lenny. We go at 2-1 at the moment. And Orgless, are they going to go back to split, or are they going to try redo garage, or are they going to redo lobby instead? What is the plan next?
I'd imagine they'll go back to garage. I don't see much purpose in trying to redo either lobby or split when basement went so well for you initially. I mean, they could
returned.
That's really funny. I respect the attempt. For those of you who have context, we were remaking the lobby. We're inviting players back. Right as everyone on Orgless left, Oasis rejoined the lobby. So that's really unfortunate in terms of timing. But we were going to rehost the lobby anyway, so it's not like we'll be here longer than we expected. But for the side of Orgless, I would expect them to go back to basement. There's no point trying to adapt, especially when you've already won basement. Just play that side again and then focus on how to improve lobby or split. Don't need to try that now. Just try and win the site you've already won.
I definitely agree. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see what Lenny's gonna do this time because last time they played that garage site, they weren't able to get rid of the roamers. Gotcha, Young Alec playing above, running around. It was just a menace, and they were able to deal with either of them. So this time, they had a good roam clear that second time when they played for that lobby site. So I'm definitely interested to see if they can replicate that on a different site. But again, when you have 2 floors to run around it can be difficult to drone out and figure out where players like Gotcha, players like Young Alec are, especially when they're playing the Mute, the Mozzie, and the Vigil.
Yeah, it is a bit of a problem, but it still didn't seem to hurt them too much on that lobby press room attack. They were able to find Prod pretty quickly, though he was in a fairly common spot. I imagine even if they didn't have intel, they honestly might have naded or even just tried to clear out that spot with some utility anyway, just because of how often anybody, but specifically a Mozzie, will play in that position no matter the site. So it was always a bit of a risk there. Maybe Prod should have backed off a little bit earlier. But lobby, the roam didn't look terrible the entire time. I think that was the site, though. Split will always have a bit of an asterisk since Oasis lagged out. It's kind of hard to decide what exactly they wanted to go or what their true take would have would have looked like had Oasis been there. Probably would have seen him up inside of admin alongside Prod, but for that lobby defense, it was fairly solid. It just came down to LennyGG's clear and Orgless. I mean, flawless so far. I'm sure they're a team that's capable of adapting to it because LennyGG's take wasn't exactly anything crazy or different than what we've seen previously.
No. It was the same as always, pretty much. They're just taking from admin over, just driving these players out. They got the first pick of one player who was playing, playing outside. They got Mikey again on that first pick as well. Like they denied the push when it came to, try and take control of Projector. They will at least try and contest it and waste time. But, unfortunately, it seemed like they could not win some of those fights. And it just came down to winning certain gunfights, keep control of certain parts of the map for longer than they could. And of course he has some brazen runouts too, like Gotcha trying to run out thinking someone was on the rappel on admin, but at that point they were already in admin.
Yeah, and here's what I will say, speaking of admin, for that for Archives Teller specifically, the fact that they were able to survive so long, even down a player, it's indicative that setup should have a fair amount of success, even though it was a 4v5, because they wasted 2 minutes of time. And LennyGG was still clearing out the map, and nobody on Orgless had actually fallen yet. I might be wrong, Benny, but it still shows that both of the setups for Orgless, despite the extenuating circumstances around number 3, were solid, and maybe just a little adaptation or all 5 members being in the lobby is enough to throw them over the edge. But I think that should be for rounds 4 and 5, or 5 and 6. Right now, go back to basement, replay the site you've already won, maybe tweak that setup a little bit if you want, or even just run it back. That should be Orgless' game plan, in my humble opinion. Then again, I also, what do I know?
Well, see how Lenny, if they can, they can figure things out, they can adapt and deal with this roam, because once again, the Mozzie, the Mute, the Vigil makes it very difficult to clear. Especially when it came to this first defense, they could not even get rid of those electro claws on the wall to open up that garage wall. So there's still quite a few missing pieces when it came to that first attack from LennyGG. Well, that's one way to figure things out. They could change to a Twitch to deal with the electro claw rather than grenading it from above, and Gotcha looking to switch off the Vigil to another Vigil.
It's Vigil. I don't blame him sticking it. I totally understand.
He spawns 2 Vigils doing that.
All right. I was not up to date on that information. I'll write that down, I guess. There are now 6 operators on the field. Thank you, Benny, for your sagely wisdom, as always. So, back to basement. Back to basement. As you mentioned earlier, big problem here was getting caught up on the roam off site. You had a Prod C4 earlier, Young Alex smoking Mikey all the way from long desk into yellow. LennyGG tried to get something started, but everyone on Orgless, or 2 members on Orgless specifically, just said no, and they didn't have much of a shot at this point. Orgless are running the same lineup. They're trying to run it back. We also saw them getting a little bit aggressive previously. That could be important, but Benny, if you want to talk about that, I'll let you do that. They were getting a bit aggressive previously. I don't think we'll see Gotcha running out of projector window within the first 30 seconds anymore, but we're also seeing Young Alex spawn peeking, so what do I know?
It looks like, Gotcha looks like he's going to jump out again, actually. Also, I don't know if Barney's going to fix that or not, but he kind of missed that electric claw. I don't know. He'll probably fix it. He probably notices it. Either way, yeah, so this roam once again from the side of Orgless, and yeah, is Gotcha gonna run out? Is Young Alec gonna peek? It looks like at least this time Lenny are more focused on opening up this wall, and because barring Electric Claw is a bit off, and because they have the, you know, the Twitch drones, they can destroy them easily, and they can push straight on the site. They can try and bypass this roam altogether and go for a plant. And we talked before, a plant on Consulate Garage is one of the hardest to retake. One of the hardest to retake. But at this point, I'm assuming Orgless understand that those are open, and they're going to try pushing back the site. Is Lenny in a position maybe to cut off some of those roamers pushing back the site? Maybe. Hard to say, but so far it doesn't seem like Orgless, not Orgless, but LennyGG really are doing anything other than just open this wall.
And nobody on the side of Orgless was actively watching those drone holes, maybe not expecting the Twitch to come out. Was 6-picked by Swaylen, so he's able to send that shock drone in, and even though barring misplaced that K charge, they both would have been destroyed by the Twitch drone either way. So that wall is still able to get open, and that's farther than LennyGG made directly onto the site. Before, they were forced to push on in, compounded by the losses they made earlier, frustrated them overall. But now, with that wall open, they can start to make that roam clear happen if they want. Minute 30 left, try to acquire some piano control. Again, a good lineup at their disposal. Right now, they are all still lining up outside this breach, starting to move on in. The first toxic canisters will go out, but they might just be planning on sending it.
The only issue here is the fact that they only have Habana for the hard breach, so they don't have a big enough real hole to make it. They have this hole here, and they have a small hole to the right. Can you actually walk through the hole, even crouch through it? Barring with the first kill onto Geo outside that wall, they're just peeking through these garage holes, not actually taking any real control. So it's just kind of you're just playing peeks with the people on site. And so far, Orgless have won the first engagement, and Barring has a great angle on denying the push into the white car. And there's a second one for Barring, holding an angle on the Storms. The Fuser down once again. Third for Barring. Can he get a fourth? Just holding this angle. Young Alec gets that fourth kill, and now it's down to just Slippery on this side of the map.
Slippery hitting the rotate of the Millennium right now, going in through Visa, I suppose. Of all the places I expected the Yana to be, that was not one of them, but he is there now, and with only 30 seconds left, the Fuser a mile away. He's got to try to find 5 picks, because Lord knows he's not getting that bomb down, no matter how hard he tries. And everyone from Orgless is slowly moving on over to try and get their frag. Slippery, he's not going to take the bait. He's going to rotate over, maybe go spiral, but I imagine this is just going to be an effective timeout for LennyGG. C4 will go out. Pre-fire will land onto Young Alex, so 1 kill at the very least. 2, if he can confirm the down. The gone 6 as well. Excellent way to finish off Gotcha, but he's finished off by Barring. So a quad for the Cade, and Orgless's second round.
Well, again, like I said before, it seemed like their full intent was opening up that garage wall. Of course, with the Twitch, it made it that much easier. But that's the end of their game plan, was just opening up the wall, and then they just played peeks with the people on site, and that was really it.
Yeah, beyond that, they had the tools at their disposal, but Storms was sitting outside the whole time. It looked like that, in all likelihood, that maybe they were trying to get a roam clear started, try to deal with Gotcha or Prod or whoever was on the roam. You were focused a lot on that breach the entire time, but whatever it was, I would even call it maybe it was unsuccessful because they didn't land any picks or acquire any map control, but nobody even died on the side of LennyGG. It was just, they finally decided, all right, we'll hit the site, move through the breach, and they were just cut down by Barring. It seemed to seemed to be end all be all.
Yeah, it seemed like they were pigeonholed and walking through that breach, and they only brought the Habana, so they only make a small hole walking into site. And that's kind of the issue with bringing only Habana for the garage site. You can only make small holes walking into site, and those small holes are pretty easily watched by the members of the defense. So we go into the lobby for our next defense for Orgless, and last time it was big. Good shots from LennyGG and some brazen attacks from Orgless that really allowed LennyGG to make this run happen.
Yeah, here go around. Orgless going with a similar setup, not changing things up too much. Young Alec is still on his beloved Aruni, so we don't have to worry too much there that he will feel uncomfortable, because he feels comfortable on that P10 Roni. If you're not been made clear of that at this point, well, you haven't been paying attention to Young Alec on Orgless. LennyGG, big problem they had was getting stuck up on that admin side, and so far they're going for the same take. What resulted here was a nade sent on in by Slippery that landed at the free to prod, excellently cooked, and the Mozzie was toast. But is he there? That's the question, because I don't believe he is.
He's got his pest over there, so they lost some drones doing that, but at the moment nobody's there. Prod's downstairs and Visa office instead. Barring still playing Bosco though, so it's the same setup upstairs, or similar setup upstairs, so they still have to deal with Barring on this in this position. So let's see how well they do it, and they should have no problem now just taking control admin. Storm's still waiting for a run out, waiting for some aggression from like Gotcha last time, who ran out that main door. And so far, though, nobody from Orgless is really taking any aggressive stance. So maybe Orgless at this point taking a bit slower, though they will identify one pre-placed, though there's also a player of Young Alec playing nearby that pre-placed. Looks like they may have heard the drone ping that out, so they're going to back off for the moment.
Barring starting to face some pressure as well, send a toxic canister out. I'm glad you brought up that aggression by Orgless last time. I slipped my mind that Storms did, sitting behind a tree, just find a player wide swinging main door. That was kind of important, the overall trend of the round. But this time around, Orgless are playing it more safe. They're just sitting inside the site. Now it's on Orgless LennyGG to try and work Orgless out of these positions, and nobody on the defense is taking any chances. They're still sitting in their spots. In fact, Prod and Gotcha, they'll rotate, but down further into Consulate. Not in a spot that is actively in the face of LennyGG, and they don't really need to. Both of them, they have expended their C4s, but they can still play from below, and Barn will even manage to get away scot-free from Bosco. So it's a 5v5, but all the utility you want on Orgless, or all the utility remaining, it's still in their hands. But as I say that, Benny, no C4s, no toxic canisters.
Yeah,
5v5, they have those, they have that manpower, but beyond that, not much else.
They've wasted the time, but they have no real way of stopping the plant other than swinging. So if LennyGG can take control of Projector, take control of Spiral, they could make this plan happen. But again, taking control of Projector and Spiral could be an issue because members from Orgless are moving around, though, to try and stop that. Gotcha moving here, thinking someone's on the bottom of Spiral, looking towards the edge section. But there's Alex to go down, and Mikey take out Oasis. So this is going great for Lenny. This is, again, information from Slippery, knowing one playing Zulu. It's Gio to kill Gotcha, and now it's a 5v2. Barring and Prod take it back. Prod walks through Zulu right into the hands of Swaylin. Barring's upstairs, but someone's holding from upstairs, from the balcony. It's Storms, and a flawless round from Lenny.
And the issue there with a lot of Orgless does is they decided to hold out in the final 45 seconds based almost entirely on positioning and gunfights against LennyGG, a team that all 5 players have the potential and always seem to make a play where they just walk in and kill 2 people. Mikey's done it. Slippery's done it. Storms and Swaylin have done it. Gio has facilitated it. That style of play is just not something that's going to work frequently against LennyGG because they've done it against so many different teams. And you also have some good utility play there as well. Storm still had a nade, able to take down Young Alec. Sure, the positioning from Orgless was pretty solid on the site, but because of no utility, you're playing gunfights with a team that, sure, they might be 7th out of 8 right now, but they are still damn sure mechanically gifted, and they can win those gunfights if you try and take them.
Yeah, I think leaving it to the last 45 seconds to gunfights against Lenny can be that's a risky thing to do. It's kind of maybe a bit of a check there against them, and letting them play fire against fire and giving a chance to Lenny, and that's a chance that Lenny took. They won that round, winning most of those gunfights when it came to the last minute. So again, we go back downstairs to split, or well, let's say downstairs in the first floor. So last time it was big on Lenny, just kind of walked around the map. They were down a member in Oasis, so it wasn't exactly a full round you can kind of contemplate because they were down a man from the very beginning. But the big thing is the fact that LennyGG just kind of walked around the map as a team and found members left and right. They even go for a planter, go for control of the site.
Top of that, I think Oasis is actually even playing a different op. I thought he was Jaeger previously, but now he's a Rooney.
I don't know.
I might be wrong, but I feel like that's correct. But anyway, beside the point, we are now seeing the full setup coming out from Orgless, and it was a setup that even down a man looked good last time, but now they might be down a man early on if Young Alec continues to get aggressive. There is a mute jammer, and his ERC is activated, so not only are they not able to drone his position, they have no idea. They've already droned on through. They're assuming it's clear. Mikey will rotate on down, but not ADS. It's not Young Alec to seal his fate. It's Gotcha all the way behind White Van, but still a lack of intel on that downstairs position, assuming garage was clear when it was anything but.
Yeah, last time they immediately opened up this garage wall, driving Gotcha out. This time they didn't go through the X-Kairos. They didn't open the garage wall, allowing the Gotcha to play behind White and get that first pick on a Mikey. So a bit of a misstep, bit of a backstep there from Lenny, unfortunately. So this is looking good for Orga so far. And now the next step is clearing out these members upstairs. Gem Replicator comes through, finds one inside of waiting room, drives that player back. And so far now, what is the intent? What is the goal from Lenny? Because they look like they're trying to push upstairs, but now Slippery's backing off elsewhere, maybe going towards the balcony on that projector window instead to get an angle onto the player and maybe inside a waiting room. Hard to say. But so far, nothing really been done by Lenny.
Not losing Mikey early on. Appears they've started to slow down, ease onto the brakes, maybe a bit prematurely, or maybe they didn't have a choice, whatever perspective you want to go. But Swaylen will finally start moving on in, but nobody's in projector. They've all left the area long ago. There is still one player inside of admin, and he's spotted. It's the Mozzie, but it's Prod to get the second kill, and Baring can just continue wasting time. He might very well play his life here, and he has that privilege. If he's not dealt with, he has a C4 that, sure, it might not be in the best position vertically to do it, but it's still a piece of utility that you're going to be questioning. And at the very least, he can just keep wasting time. And now, aided by Oasis, moving on up, Swaylen is close, holding the angle. He'll swing out, but he can't flick in time. He's cut down. 2v5. Geo and Storms both left up top. Make that a 1v5 with Geo moving up to the second floor. But with the site both in basement and first floor, and they haven't even dealt with Baring on the second, Orgless, they'll end the half 3-3. A flawless round to meet another flawless round.
Wow, what another kind of a weird kind of way this kind of game has gone so far. It's kind of been back and forth, but there have been rounds that Orgless win dominantly, and there's rounds that Lenny win dominantly. Very, very odd. We end a 3-3 half, which is kind of normal on Consulate. But again, I don't really know what to say. I can't really guess who's going to win this because both teams have had good rounds back and forth. But I would say it seems like Orgless have the better grasp on Consulate, it seems like.
Does seem like it a little bit, but then again, it is also a 3-3 half, but for both teams, the stakes aren't too particularly high, so we might just not be seeing everything both these teams had to offer if they were under much more dire circumstances. But a 3-3 half, as you said, not anything unexpected on Consulate. Moving to console office for the very first site to start things out. Not something you would expect because those 3 bomb sites are just a little bit better than this one overall, mainly due to the abundance of windows that the attackers can repel from or hold. That makes holding this site a little bit difficult. But LennyGG, they have accounted for that a little bit, and almost in the same vein as Archives Tellers, have 3 C4s and a Pulse as well to play off that intel. So could be going for a bit more verticality and an extension downstairs as well. It's always a little bit risky doing that because, again, downstairs could be a little bit difficult to hold inside a piano, but if Slippery just moves down to basement as he's doing, Orgless could overlook the Pulse down there, and that's free intel for the defense.
Yeah, I think before, usually when it comes to the Pulse playing down here, usually you can have teams either play this like you see in Archives to get information they're pushing admin side, or you can have that Pulse play inside a circle desk and C4 if they go for the play inside a projector. That's usually I've seen in the past because usually you can tell people can play out a circle desk and C4 from below has been a big one, but it depends on what Orgless have in mind where they go for this push. Looks like so far this joining out, they're on the window so far, waiting for the windows on B as well. So this is, again, like Link said before, window play is the big reason why nobody plays this because of how difficult it is with how many windows, how many different angles to upside and repel. It's so difficult to fight those numbers on the attack. Especially a Nomad band though, it may be easier for, LennyGG to run out and start dealing with some of these repellers. We'll see what happens though. First EE1D comes out and pre-fires come out. They push the way into sight. Oasis is going to plant the diffuser, but he's getting hit by an evil eye. Can he get it down in time? No, he's going to punch off, and the C4 from below is going to deny him entirely. So at this point now, the diffuser's in the sight. Now the members of Orgless are pushed in bathroom into sight and take fights, and Slippery on the yellow stairs. He flanks up to his Prod.
Now that's kind of the issue. Once that take doesn't work and Oasis falls, Prod is just like, well, crap, what are we gonna do now? And he's left alone inside a bathroom. Now young Alec, the third piece of the puzzle, has fallen. The fourth one ripped up and thrown away. Baring all alone, 1v5 will nail Storms on top of that, or peeking through that little hole made in that piano wall. But minute 30 left. Maybe we'll just take this as attack timeout, but he could go for the kills. No, never mind. He has no idea Mikey's in piano. So overall, rate for the setup by LennyGG. Orgless, or most teams, will normally take that site by just clearing out console, isolating and containing the players on both projector side and bathroom side, and then you repel and go for the plant. LennyGG's setup perfectly countered that. If Orgless were not doing their due diligence and clearing out the rest of the map, which, in all fairness, that's not how it's commonly played, so I can understand that a bit, but still, you got to be droning out those things. You can't let a Pulse play downstairs or Mikey play downstairs and get that C4. Sure, the Evil Eye zapped away most of Oasis' health, but it was the C4 that incinerated Orgless' chances in that round because Orgless just assumed it was clear, and they didn't fully clear it out. So for LennyGG, that setup is meant to counter that execute by Orgless, and it worked flawlessly.
Yeah, that was big. Even if the Evil Eye didn't kill him, though, the Evil Eye stops him from planting because I don't think he could plant down if he kept getting zapped by the Evil Eye. And then, of course, it gives him the intel allowing for the C4. So big thing, big props to Lenny for that. And kind of, I guess, Orgless not doing, as I said before, the due diligence, not clearing out below, making sure nobody's ready for C4. Because sure, it's not totally normal, but getting C4 on that site specifically seems a bit. I feel like it's been quite done before quite a bit. So I don't know. Hard to say. We go on to garage and kitchen for our next defense from the side of LennyGG. And of course, just like we saw from the side of Orgless, LennyGG is roaming. It plays upstairs, and also Tachanka being brought on this site.
5 seconds left.
I saw a bit of Tachanka earlier on Villa, then we had a bit of a break for him, and now we'll see him brought on Consulate. Actually, the first time, by the way, fun fact, Benny, first time I ever saw a Tachanka in comp play was in an NSG monthly without a cast with Harrison. Saw it on Consulate as well. On this site in particular.
I think the first one I saw was Frozen. They brought the clubhouse.
Was that the one you and I also casted?
No, that was before. That was stage 1.
Ah.
Oh,
true. Good point.
Yeah, that was
actually,
stage
I
1.
might have seen it then and I forgot.
Yeah. That was when Frozen brought it on Clubhouse, and he tried to do the crazy thing he said on the Twitter threads, and it unfortunately didn't work.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, that's true. But shout out. I saw Mr. B pull this one out on Consulate Garage, and what he would do is what Gio's doing right now: play it in that security office, send out the Molotov grenades right at that breach to try and deny the push on in. So, LennyGG, I know this setup. It's a solid one at that. What's also solid is them on this roam. Mikey up top will finally start to face some pressure, but he'll rotate back down quickly. But there's the cutoff by Gotcha. That is where experience and patience pays off.
Oh, wow. But Slippery also has the experience to shoot him in the head.
That's true. Birthday energy.
Oasis will kick out, holding on to yellow. He takes out Swaylin on the rotate. And so at least Orgless has a good grasp on these rotates, good grasp on cutting off some of these roamers. And so they get 2 of those picks. They put themselves in the lead when it comes to at least the man count. But they need to be able to convert this into a win so far. And they still have some of those Shamika launcher. They still have the ability to deny the plants with the chunk on the board. Oasis wants to open this wall up, but still muted. So somebody above in piano will have to destroy the floor and get rid of the mute jammer. And that's kind of what we're waiting on at this point for these members to get ready for it, or just have young Alec and Yossi shoot it.
That's still a viable strategy. Not going to critique them for it. I'd have young Alex shoot anything I needed. So I get Orgless's logic there. Drone will try to go in by Oasis, but a C4 blows it up. And look at Slippery on this flank. Young Alec might be a shooter, but Slippery shoots a bit straighter, especially when the Yana's not looking at the Goyo. But there's Barring for the trade. So whatever damage you could have done on that flank, completely minimized by Barring's positioning inside a piano. Gio will try to do his best inside of security, but because of the low man count and the map control attained by Orgless, mainly the verticality, playing inside of that spot a lot more difficult. 1 HP, he'll be forced back, and landing those nades is going to be a lot more difficult. Prod will move from the back. He's able to find the more healthy of the 2 players, and he'll find both in the end. Orgless, they might have lost round number 1 in their attack, but they will fire back in full force for their second attacking round.
Slippery was kind of slippery in the beginning there, but still Orgless able to push back those. Shut up.
I see what you did there.
Orgless playing well in the beginning, cutting off those rumors, pushing them back into the welcoming arms of Gotcha and other players, like other players who are playing those positions, ready for those rotates. Oasis, Gotcha, ready for the rotates, get those picks, put him in the man advantage. Though Slippery tried to bring it back, he gets a kill of his own, tries to flank later on, does get a kill in that flank, but does get refragged, and he kind of was the only one there who was making anything happen for the team at that point. He was playing pretty slippery, but he's also a one-man army against 5.
Did you really work the Slippery joke back in there at the end?
I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't say anything.
That was you thought that was so good you needed to say it again?
Yeah, I was trying to be slippery.
I actually hate you. Only a couple more rounds, Carter. Only a couple more rounds. That'll be over. Be okay.
Well, a couple was 2, and there's no way to end it 2.
That's true. I suppose specifically at max, 7 more rounds.
Yeah.
And hey, it is currently 4-4. CJ did swap his prediction to LennyGG. We all initially predicted Orgless. Still hope for CJ to boost his prediction GG a little bit more, and we would all obviously fall. I'm looking to go 4-0 on the day personally, so Orgless, continue your trend with that round. But I would also like to see LennyGG win, because they are the underdogs here. It's always nice when the underdogs come on through. Right now they're going to split, so sight we have seen, but they are taking this a little bit differently, Benny. They have both a pulse and an extended roam off site. Normally you see one or the other.
Yeah, there's a lot of different plays, a lot of moving cogs here for LennyGG. Can they keep track of all the moving cogs, or are they going to lose to the sight of members? Never mind, Slippery. Young Alec goes down to Slippery. One way in for another. Oasis gets a kill back on Slippery though for the refrag, so some aggression to get that kill. Young Alec, trading Young Alec for him is pretty good there, and barring just inside a spiral. Nobody expected him there. He's just on site. Well, not on site, he's near site.
Well, I imagine as that EU1D rings out, he is bound to be on site, especially if he manages to find this frag on the player just to his left. I believe that is Storms. Yes, it is Storms. So we're sitting with the SMG-11. You can see the corpus of Pulse right in front of him. His teammate tried to join Storms inside this closet, but he was cut short. So, a solemn reminder to Storms of it. I was about to say his changing fortunes, but never mind. He flips luck on his head, smokes barring off the face of the earth, and now LennyGG have reclaimed the lead. A 2v3, bomb dropped on the floor, but easily recovered by Gotcha. He can just reach out, pick up that case, put it right on his, I was going to say put it in his pocket, but that's not really how that works. Also not how that works, Prod. You got to know there's someone up on Spiral. Minute 30 left. That's a bit of misintel by the Lion. Now it's Gotcha. 1v3. Does have Diffuser, was able to recover it, but that horizontal clear, which seemed to rely a lot on barring, getting that entry into the site. The moment he fell, Orgless' chances seemed to fall directly correlated.
Oh, at this point, Gotcha's going to find through the members running around the map. And really, yeah, it definitely seems like Bar was trying to get the entry and push on the site, but again, not a lot. There weren't people with him. He was kind of by himself on that spiral stairs. And Intel's also, a miss here. They didn't really clear top floor. And of course, Whalen's going to swing and miss all of his shots, unfortunately, but he'll finish him off at the end there. He'll take out Gotcha. And a good round from LennyG. And it seemed like Orgless didn't have the information they needed to really play that round out.
Yeah, it seemed like another kind of a repeat of that console round, just assuming a lot of things were clear when in all reality they weren't. Might not be. Maybe they did make an honest to God attempt to drone out that map, and they were just stopped by, for example, the Mozzie, or I believe there was a mute as well in the hands of Storms. So could have just had intel denied, and they got a bit ahead of themselves, or barring while he got that kill, maybe he got a bit ahead of himself. But whatever it was, Orgless tried to go for that direct take. They were collapsed on by the members of LennyGG, both down below and up above. Hard to come back from once you've lost a couple of those bodies to try and work yourself into an actual clear when the makings of one are beyond you at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to try and come back from that point after so many members have... It was interesting because there were so many different members from Orgless in different positions taking different fights. Very interesting from Orgless. LennyGG's kind of all around the map, sprawled around. Different cogs, different ways to try and take it. Unfortunately, they couldn't really come to a real goal there and kind of flopped for Orgless. But we go back to lobby for LennyGG. And wait, are we going backwards? This is the first time. I'm going crazy.
No, remember they did console the first time.
Oh yes, this is the first time, isn't it?
Yes.
This is the first time going to a lobby for LennyGG, and we'll see if they play it like Orgless did. They're gonna try and play Bosco like everyone does, pretty much. Oh,
of course, they will.
Oh,
Storms is going to get a kill here. All right, never mind, he's not. All right, I really thought that he was going to get a kill there, but he cut himself off and cut off my prediction. Not happy about that. Not at all. But it does mean that Storms will, one, potentially not needlessly give his life away, and two, nobody from Orgless will have to be the guy who didn't check Visa door and ended up dying to it. Right now it's Prod who's able to open it up, and since there's nobody there, he can just mosey on over to that rappel and start droning his team in as well. First E1D to go out, but since the roam clear's coming through, could have had some impact, but they're all already rotating off. Barring, we'll just be chasing shadows, as everyone at LennyGG is already backed off from Printer.
So they've all backed up more towards CEO, more towards this far side, this far north side, or west side, I mean. And, well, no, so projectile control isn't really in either team, but as long as the attacking team can push them off and not allow them to use those vertical angles on them as they make the plan happen, this could be all the Orgless need. It's hard to say, though. Having full control projectile would also be really good for the attack. And, of course, they can use those Flourish drones, those Rotera drones to destroy things, make sure they get rid of the utility, as they're just droning out and seeing who is around downstairs, upstairs, inside of CEO, who's still around. Gem Liquidator coming out, too. All this information is coming up. Why is that an orange box, or purple box?
That was kind of weird. But it doesn't matter, because Storm's just like, oh no, there's a Florist drone. Okay, it blew up. All right, I'll just retake this position now. So not much cost incurred by LennyGG on that, especially Storms. The Orgless now do have intel on his position, Barring still making some work outside of main door right now, and for Orgless, you talked about potentially getting full projector control. That's not a bad thing, but for Orgless right now, they just need some semblance of control in there, and they're kind of lacking it, mainly because of Storms' presence or continued presence inside a console. So right now, they might have pushed him back, but they might just cut their losses and start moving on in. Gotcha is outside on projector Balk right now, so they have isolated it. They can watch the flanks, but if LennyGG get aggressive and they're able to find one gunfight, could go their way, but the exact opposite happens. Young Alec has moved long bar, cut the head off of Mikey, and now Oasis can move on in thanks to the distraction up top. Bomb's starting to go down. They need to watch bottom spiral because Slippery's moving his way on up. He'll try to wallbang, but he's a little bit too far to the left. Storms with the Roni will find a kill up top, but it won't stop the bomb going down. All it will do is make the pressure up top a little bit easier, but with the post lane already happened and members of Orgless vacating the site, save for Oasis still sitting on the bomb, it's been difficult to come away with. Slippery will get his second kill of the round, or the second out of the Roni brothers. Oasis smokes him off the face of the earth, but it's still LennyGG to come away on the better side of a 1v3. Barring on 25 HP, never mind. I was going to say he has a nice angle, but he's not watching his back. Slippery with 3, and LennyGG with match point.
Wow, LennyGG with match point. Geo kill Storms. Hey, you know, they're celebrating. They're celebrating. But either way, that round, it was a bit of a slow from Orgless. They're taking control admin, you know, they're pushing right over, trying to take control projector. They're able to push the members of LennyGG back, but they're still playing above. They're still playing CEO. They're still playing waiting room. They're still upstairs waiting for a chance to retake projector. That's kind of what happened. They go for the plant. They get the plant down, but then the members of LennyGG start to persist. They start to take control. They deal with the members upstairs. They full take control of top floor, and at that point, you can't stay inside a circle desk. They get that last kill. And then the last player outside is unaware because there's so many different angles. There's still 3 players left, so he's watching the bomb, but he's also being watched from behind. And Slippery, that's where he gets the kill from the teller side. So good job from LennyGG. They're a match point, and it looked like, you know, maybe CJ was right. He's about to win this prediction.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're still all below Brimstone, so like even if he wins here, like we've all lost.
We've all lost the Brimstone.
You might as well just, even if you predicted Orgless. Or even if LennyGG lost, like I would just give him that one at that point.
Yeah, you know, you guys say last stage doesn't matter, this stage is all that matters, but really the only stage that matters is stage 3 because that's the stage that goes for relegation.
True. Benny's spitting right now. Benny is onto something.
Well, let's see this last round. This potential last round for LennyGG would go back to the top floor, and this top floor was where LennyGG played so well, understanding that they were just going straight for CEO, and they C4'd him. The fuses in sight. They just hold the diffuser from below.
Yeah, well, that's the thing now, right? So, what are Orgless going to do? Are they just going to try to force this again? They have the gridlock. It does do well for just sending those track stingers around the bomb and then just holding and trying to deny the retake. So it looks like they might be playing a little bit more into it, but they've all spawned on that admin side, so honestly, they might not even do that.
No, there's intel going out the window. Those Mozzie pests will grab them, and he grabs the Mozzie pest. He's grabbing like 2 drones for it. Damn. Mikey's getting a lot of drones, a lot of intel.
Let's go, Mikey.
Let's go, Mikey. Let's go. And so
Mikey,
at this point...
eat up with the Mozzie pest. That's going on the CGG.
That should be a stat. How many drones you've captured?
I'm making it a stat.
Oh, and Slippery going below, though. That could be a C4 in the hands of them, but there's also intel being brought out to try and find where Slippery is, and he's pretty slippery, so maybe they haven't found him.
All right, man. Well, I was about to say it's a bit of a risk if Slippery's playing by himself, but he is aided by Storms inside of Tellers, so he does have somebody there where if he gets pushed, they can play for the trade or watch his back, what have you, because you don't want to lose your pulse, which was so key to your defense last time. You don't want to lose him in the first minute or even the first minute 30. Orgless will continue moving on forward, and LennyGG downstairs will likely be able to get that C4 through. One in the hands of Storms and Slippery as well, and nobody on the side of LennyGG is looking to try and counter them too actively. You do have Prod downstairs on that Visa window, but if they're able to play their cards right and hold themselves more to that west side, they could still find a C4 or even rotate up spiral later on if the coverage from Orgless is a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, this becomes an execute onto projector. That circle desk can be huge. Having someone from Orgless go down on a circle desk and hold off will be big, because otherwise LennyGG, they give you a take control circle, but a C4 from below, it'll be pretty much a repeat from last time where they denied the plant. It's now sitting on inside a projector, and you can smoke that player as well, because you see the smoke of Geo is playing behind the shield by bathroom. He could smoke off the diffuser and keep it in sight, keeping projector, and they won't be able to get that plant down. First smokes come out, though, to try and stop them from pushing into sight. And so far, it looks like Gotcha playing elsewhere. It's Slippery with a kill on a barn, but Gotcha with a great shot on the Swaylin. And that's the entry you need. That's the cutoff you need. Mikey's there to fight back, though, and they might be able to stop these players from even pushing into sight.
Maybe. Oasis, ooh, will look away at just the wrong time as Slippery takes the gunfight, or the right time, because if LennyGG are hitting their shots, maybe you don't want to take a gunfight with them. Mikey prone on the floor, clearly takes Prod off guard, and it's looking like LennyGG might come away with this. 35 seconds left. Gotcha and Oasis separated by a floor between them, one on the first, one on the second, and the person Gotcha might have to fight with was Mikey, but he falls. Oasis the only one left. He'll pick up a kill on the Slippery, but this is looking like a 7-4 for LennyGG, unless Oasis can manage something miraculous for us all to watch. He'll make his way into Projector, does have the bomb in hand, could try to fake out a plan as well, but look, they have hard pings in his position. Storm's down below with the C4, 1 HP for the Thermite. Well, Orgless, they're still going to playoffs. LennyGG, they're still in Challenger League. Nothing's changed, but CJ's prediction GG score.